ProVision English Course 2. Lesson 1. Around the World in Lionheart.
Page 6. Key words. New words.
Lionheart.
Page 7. Read and think. Part 1. New words.
Jesse Martin.
Now, listen to Part 1.
Jesse Martin had a dream of sailing around the world alone in a yacht.
Page 8. Part 2. New words.
Financial.
Now, listen to Part 2.
Jesse needed money to get a good yacht, equipment, and food.
Pages 8 and 9. Part 3. New words.
Melbourne.
Now, listen to Part 3.
On December 7th, 1998, Jesse, at the age of 17, set up.
Pages 10 and 11. Part 4. New words.
Equator.
Now, listen to Part 4.
Jesse sailed up past the equator to the Azores Islands.
Pages 14 and 15. Grammar. Listen. B1.
1. He got a call from a man named Dave, who agreed to take him on the yacht.
B2.
1. I haven't had a good sleep for.
B3.
1. If I had enough time, I would set out on a trip across Japan.
Page 16. Function. Listen. C2.
1. What do you do? 2. How do you spend your free time?
Lesson 2. A visitor.
Page 18. Key words. New words.
Visitor.
Page 19. Read and think. Part 1. New words.
Greenbrier Valley.
Now, listen to Part 1.
Greenbrier Valley lay almost hidden by low clouds.
Page 20. Part 2. New words.
Bill.
Now, listen to Part 2.
We had finished changing the battery at Bill's store and returned to my house when.
Page 21. Part 3. New words.
Wet.
Now, listen to Part 3.
Once the meal was over, he quickly stood up and said that he must be on his way.
Pages 22 and 23. Part 4. New words.
Countryside.
Now, listen to Part 4.
Time went by, but we never saw the young man again. Jane and I lived peacefully and quietly, surrounded by the beautiful countryside in the Greenbrier Valley.
Pages 26 and 27. Grammar. Listen. B1.
1. I found a car parked at the side of the road.
B2.
1. It's very kind of you to say so. 2.
B3.
1. Jane and I lived peacefully, surrounded by the beautiful countryside in the Greenbrier Valley. 2. Encouraged by his friends, John tried running the race again.
Page 28. Function. Listen. C1.
1. If I had been able to speak Chinese, I could have enjoyed the trip more.
C2.
1. I'm sorry to have taken up so much of your time. 2.
Lesson 3. Gender stereotypes.
Page 30. Key words. New words.
Gender. Stereotype. Housewife.
Pages 31 and 32. Read and think. Part 1. New words.
Ring.
Now, listen to Part 1.
The phone rang at the emergency center. The operator answered, 911, what is your emergency?
Pages 32 and 33. Part 2. New words.
Affect.
Now, listen to Part 2.
Are you puzzled too?
Page 34. Part 3. New words.
Create. But.
Now, listen to Part 3.
Even the idea that women should stay in the home as housewives is a recent one. In the United States, it was at the beginning of the 19th century when the role of housewife was created to keep the house and raise children.
Page 35. Part 4. New words.
Influential.
Now, listen to Part 4.
Gender stereotypes are still used and heard every day.
Page 36. Part 5. New words.
Assume.
Now, listen to Part 5.
Gender stereotypes affect your life more than you might think.
Pages 40 and 41. Grammar. Listen. B1.
1. He stood wondering why for a moment.
B2.
1. Only after World War II did today's connection of the two genders with pink and blue become common.
B3.
1. Even the idea that women should stay in the home as housewives is a recent one.
Page 42. Function. Listen. C1.
1. What do you think about this?
C2.
1. I'm so sorry. 2. Forgive my careless mistakes. 3. How stupid of me to forget your telephone number.
Lesson 4. Mama Tina loves us.
Page 44. Key words. New words.
Mama Tina. Orphan. Foundation. Enthusiasm.
Pages 45 and 46. Read and think. Part 1. New words.
Christina Noble.
Now, listen to Part 1.
The two little girls caught Christina Noble's eyes with
Pages 47 and 48. Part 2. New words.
Dust. Noodle.
Now, listen to Part 2.
In Ho Chi Minh City, she found thousands of street children.
Pages 49 and 50. Part 3. New words.
Hanoi.
Now, listen to Part 3.
Noble sent out letters to many foreign business people in Ho Chi Minh City.
Pages 50 and 51. Part 4. New words.
Front page.
Now, listen to Part 4.
Noble began this all alone. It seemed an impossible dream. But she fought for children, and her enthusiasm moved people of the world.
Pages 54 and 55. Grammar. Listen. B1.
1. The question was what else she could do. 2. The problem is when we should begin. 3. What I don't understand.
B2.
1. Who do you think will be interested in your plan? 2.
B3.
1. They didn't seem to have any parents.
Page 56. Function. Listen. C1.
1. My suggestion would be to look for some information on the internet.
C2.
1. I'd really like to, but I have an appointment on that day. 2.
Lesson 5. Still Me. Christopher Reeve's choice.
Page 60. Key words. New words.
Christopher Reeve.
Pages 61 and 62. Read and think. Part 1. New words.
Horse.
Now, listen to Part 1.
On a May weekend in 1995,
Pages 62 through 64. Part 2. New words.
Dana.
Now, listen to Part 2.
one day my wife Dana came into the room. I could not talk because
Pages 64 through 66. Part 3. New words.
Kessler.
Now, listen to part 3.
On June 5th,
Pages 66 and 67. Part 4. New words.
Disconnect.
Now, listen to part 4.
I made up my mind. I wanted to breathe by myself again.
Pages 70 and 71. Grammar. Listen. B1.
1. Fortunately, my head and brain were okay. 2.
B2.
1. I'll always be with you, whatever happens. 2. Whenever you visit Singapore, you'll always find it beautiful.
B3.
1. I wish I were a university student.
Page 72. Function. Listen. C1.
1. What a pity.
C2.
1. Actually, his wife's words made him a real Superman. 2. Sapporo is quite far from Tokyo. To be more exact,
C2.
1. Actually, his wife's words made him a real Superman. 2. Sapporo is quite far from Tokyo. To be more exact, it's about 800 kilometers away. 3. He does everything perfectly. In other words, he's a Superman. 4. What I'm saying is we should take action as soon as possible.